For 8 seasons, Outlander has taken us across centuries, battles, and destinies. But now, as the final chapter approaches, the story is turning back to where everything began, the stones. And they're no longer just a doorway through time. Season 8 is filled with secret clues, mysterious symbols, and long-buried truths hidden within the standing stones. Revelations that could change everything we thought we knew about Claire, Jamie, time travel, and the Fraser prophecy. So what exactly are the stones trying to tell us? And why now? Season 8 opens with a sense of unease that settles over Raymond done like a gathering storm. The stones, silent witnesses to centuries of travelers passing through their circle, begin to behave in ways no one has ever seen before. At first, the changes are subtle. The grass around the base of the main stone, normally still as air, trembles faintly even on windless mornings. Small pebbles roll toward the center of the circle as if pulled by a magnetic force. Birds refuse to land anywhere near the site, circling overhead before abruptly flying away. Claire is the first to notice the change. On a quiet visit to the stones, she feels a faint but unmistakable vibration under her palm when she touches the largest stone. It's not the usual hum she senses as a traveler, something far different. Almost like the heartbeat of a living creature stirring from a long sleep. She pulls her hand away, shaken, but tells no one at first. After everything she has experienced, she knows the difference between normal stone energy and whatever this is. A few days later, Brianna experiences her own strange encounter. While inspecting the circle with Roger, she notices flickers of blue light at the edges of her vision. At first, she assumes it's sunlight catching the stone's surface. But when the sky clouds over and the flicker continues, pull, she realizes the glow is coming from within the stone, not from the sun. Her engineering instincts kick in. She tries to rationalize it as some kind of atmospheric trick, but deep down she knows better. She felt something similar the first time she ever traveled. But this is stronger. Roger is next. One night he dreams of the stones calling to him, whispering in languages he doesn't understand. In the dream, the stones sound almost human-like voices layered atop one another, reaching across centuries. When he wakes, he dismisses it as stress. But the next night, the dream returns, louder and clearer. And this time, he wakes to find the wind outside sweeping in circles around the house, forming a perfect spiral in the dirt matching the symbol carved into some of the ancient stones. Gradually, Claire, Brianna, and Roger share their experiences and realize the truth. The stones are active even when no one is passing through. This has never happened before. Travelers don't simply visit the stones without purpose. The stones respond only when triggered by a traveler's body and the right combination of sound and energy. They're controlled, predictable, quiet, but now they're shifting on their own. Claire becomes increasingly convinced that the barriers between timelines are weakening. Something or someone is causing disturbances across different eras, and the stones are reacting. They're behaving less like portals and more like alarms. The message is clear. Something monumental is coming. A disruption strong enough to wake the stones. Or perhaps, the return of a traveler with power unlike any they've seen before. Whatever it is, the stones are no longer silent, and they're only just beginning to speak. Master Raymond's return is not dramatic at first, it is unsettling. He does not arrive through the stones in a burst of light, nor does he appear in a crowded street as he did in Paris years ago. Instead, Claire finds him exactly where she least expects him, standing in the shadows near Raymond, as if he has been waiting for her for a very long time. He looks unchanged, untouched by the passage of time. His eyes still carry that strange, ancient wisdom, and his demeanor is calm, almost otherworldly. Claire's first reaction is disbelief after years of not knowing whether he was alive, dead, or trapped in some distant timeline. Seeing him again feels like encountering a ghost. But Raymond's presence is solid, warm, familiar, and it terrifies her. When Claire asks how he arrived, he merely smiles and inclines his head toward the stones. "They brought me," he says simply. "They are breathing again." The word breathing makes Claire shiver. She remembers the vibrations she felt, the way the stones seemed alive beneath her palm. But hearing Raymond describe them this way confirms that something far greater is happening. Raymond kneels and presses his hand to the earth beneath the central stone. The ground trembles slightly in response, almost like a creature acknowledging an old friend. Claire watches in silent shock. She has never seen anyone another travel interact with the stones so intimately. He rises and tells her the truth she has sensed but feared. The stones are reacting to a massive imbalance in time. Something has shifted, something has broken, and now the stones are trying to restore order. Claire protests at first. Why now? Why, after all these years? Raymond's answer is simple, yet devastating. Because of you. He explains that Claire's aura, her blue, luminous essence has grown stronger with age, trauma, love, and every act of healing she has ever performed. She is no longer just a time traveler or a healer. She is becoming La Dame Blanche, in the truest, most mystical sense. Her very presence radiates the same energy that fuels the stones. Your power, Raymond says, awakens what has slept for centuries. The stones respond to you. They speak because you are finally ready to listen. Claire is both intrigued and alarmed. She never asked for magical gifts. She never wanted to wield power beyond her medical training. Yet here she stands, confronted with the truth that her abilities are not just coincidental, they are ancestral, ancient, and deeply connected to the origins of time travel itself. Raymond reveals that the messages emerging from the stone's visions, lights, whispers are not random. They are echoes of past travelers, fragments of prophecies, warnings encoded in the stones long before Claire's birth. And her growing power is pulling those messages to the surface. He warns her that this awakening is not without consequence. When one timeline strengthens, another weakens. When a portal opens, another may close forever. And when a powerful traveler like Claire grows stronger, others hidden, dangerous, and long forgotten, may be drawn to her like moths to flame. Raymond's last words before disappearing again are both a comfort and a chilling prophecy. Prepare yourself. Claire, the stones have chosen you, and what they awaken cannot be put back to sleep. Claire has always felt the stones before she touched them, the familiar hum beneath her skin, the electricity that prickles across her fingers. But this season, something is different. The energy doesn't pull her through time. It shows her things, not memories, not dreams, but visions. The first one appears in a moment of stillness. Claire places her hand on the central stone, expecting only the usual vibration. Instead, the world around her blurs, the air thickening like fog. A small hand, delicate, soft, unmistakably that of a child, reaches toward her from within the swirling mist. The sight hits her like a physical blow. She hears a faint laugh, a whisper of her name, and then the hand vanishes just as quickly. She collapses to her knees, breathless, because she knows that hand. She has seen it only once when she held her daughter Faith in her arms before losing her. The stones shouldn't show her something so intimate, so specific, unless someone or something is trying to tell her that Faith's story is not finished. The vision haunts her for days. The second vision comes when Claire approaches the stones with Brianna and Roger to investigate the disturbances. As soon as her palm brushes the cool surface, a blaze of blue light erupts around her, not the stones glowing, but her. The light flows from her fingertips, her arms, her chest. It envelops her in a shimmering aura that pulses like a heartbeat. Brianna sees it too. She gasps, stumbling backward, shouting for Roger to look. Claire can't hear them. She can only hear a low, resonant tone like a deep, ancient bell ringing from inside the earth. This is the blue aura master Raymond spoke of in Paris, the rare and powerful light that marks her as a healer bound to the fabric of time itself. But now it has grown stronger, almost overwhelming. Claire feels as if the stones are amplifying her energy, or warning her. The third vision is the most disturbing yet. Claire sees herself older, her hair completely white, her skin glowing faintly with radiant energy. She is kneeling beside someone, her hands pressed to their chest. Light pours from her palms, and the wounded person gasps back to life. This version of Claire is serene, powerful, almost ethereal. She is La Dame Blanche fully realized. It is a glimpse of her future, or a future she might become. Yet the most terrifying vision comes last. The fog thickens again, and a tall figure emerges, a shadowy silhouette with no face, wrapped in shifting time itself. Pieces of different eras flicker around him. Tartan, clockwork, gears, colonial uniforms, modern clothing. His hands move like a puppeteer, pulling invisible threads that ripple through the fog. He is manipulating time, twisting it, controlling it. Claire feels his attention shift toward her. He knows she can see him, and he does not retreat. The visions vanish abruptly, leaving Claire trembling, her heart pounding. She understands now that these are not random flashes, they are messages, warnings, destinies unfolding. And at the center of them all is Faith, the child she lost long ago, or perhaps, the child the stones are telling her she may not have truly lost. The stones are not just calling to Claire, they are revealing truths she was never meant to forget. Claire tries to convince herself. The first vision of Faith was an emotional hallucination. After all, grief never fully dies. It lingers, flickering like a candle in the back of one's mind. But as the days go on, the visions become more frequent, more detailed, and far too clear to dismiss. Whenever she approaches the stones, whether intentionally or by accident, the energy heightens, her heartbeat quickens, the air chills, and the same small hand appears, reaching out from a swirling mist, as though begging to be found. One night, Claire returns to Cray Dun alone, desperate for answers. There, carved into the base of the central stone, she sees something new, lines of ancient script faintly glowing with blue light. She's never seen these markings before. The stones do not normally change, but these marks pulse with the same strange energy that surrounds Claire whenever her abilities flare. Unable to decipher them herself, Claire seeks out Master Raymond. When he arrives, he touches the markings lightly, almost reverently. His face darkens with awe and concern. The script, he explains, predates known languages. It belongs to the earliest travelers, those who built, shaped, or awakened the stones long before history began. The message is simple but earth-shaking. What is lost may yet be found when the White Lady walks between worlds. Claire feels her breath leave her chest. Raymond's interpretation is even more staggering. He tells her the message is not metaphorical, it is literal. The stones are speaking to her directly, guiding her toward something she has refused to consider for years. The possibility that Faith did not die in that cold Paris room. Time does not take without leaving something in return. Raymond says gently, "Your grief created a rift. Your power may have filled it." Claire's mind races. She remembers the fever, the trauma, the haze of loss. She remembers holding Faith's still form. But what if the stones intervened? What if, sensing Claire's immense aura, luminous energy, they acted to protect a life too fragile to remain? What if Faith was not taken by death, but taken by time? The visions intensify. Claire begins seeing flashes of a small girl walking through misty forests, a blue light swirling around her tiny form. Of someone guiding her, someone who feels familiar yet out of reach. Jamie notices Claire's turmoil, but she hesitates to tell him. How can she raise the hope of a daughter returned, when it may only be the stones playing tricks on her heart? Yet deep down, Claire knows it's not a trick. The stones rarely speak, and when they do, it is always for a purpose. This time, their message feels like a summons. Faith may be alive, not in this time, not in this world, but somewhere waiting for Claire to walk between worlds. While Claire is consumed by visions of Faith, Brianna faces her own haunting messages. Ever since the stones began awakening, she hears whispers whenever she approaches the circle. Unlike Claire's visions, Brianna's experiences are auditory, soft voices murmuring fragments of an old prophecy she hoped she'd never hear again. At first, the words are disjointed. The child of time, the line of kings, the breaking of ages. The whispers grow clearer each time, until one night, as she touches a stone, the message rings out unmistakably. A king shall be revealed after the death of the 200-year-old child. It's the same prophecy that once drove guileless Duncan to madness, the same prophecy that nearly cost Brianna her life. She recoils, terrified that the stones are warning her of danger, of someone coming for her again. Roger tries to comfort her, but even he senses that something deeper is happening. The stones are not threatening Brianna, they are calling her, pulling her toward a destiny she cannot yet understand. When Master Raymond returns, Brianna demands answers. She refuses to live under the shadow of a prophecy that has stolen too much from her family already. Raymond listens patiently, then reveals something shocking. The prophecy was mistranslated from the beginning. It never spoke of death, he explains. It spoke of rebirth, of a child born from a traveler, the first of their line to hold the power of many worlds. He tells Brianna that when Claire traveled while pregnant, she became a 200-year-old mother by the stones, reckoning not biologically, but spiritually. Brianna's birth bridged to centuries. Her children, in turn, may carry the potential to shape era. The king of the prophecy may not be a literal ruler, but a leader, someone who impacts the future in profound ways. This revelation transforms everything. Brianna is not a target, she is a catalyst. Her children Mandy, Jemmy, and possibly another on the way may hold abilities that even Claire does not yet understand. Small occurrences begin confirming this. Jemmy describing dreams of places he's never been. Mandy recognizing symbols carved into stones she should not be able to read. Brianna realizes the whispers are not there to frighten her, but to prepare her. The stones are awakening her children, weaving them into the same destiny that now binds Claire, and Brianna must decide how far she is willing to go to protect them. While Claire and Brianna confront their supernatural messages, Jamie faces a much more grounded but equally devastating threat. his own written death. Frank Randall's old historical notes resurface, describing in detail the death of James Alexander Malcolm Mackenzie Fraser at a specific Revolutionary War battle. Jamie has always dismissed these writings as just another uncertainty in the messy weave of time. But Season 8 brings new fear when the Stones react violently to him. It happens the first time. Jamie touches a stone while accompanying Claire. The moment his skin meets the rough surface, the stone flares with heat. The ground shakes. Claire screams for him to let go, but he is trapped, frozen in place as visions explode behind his eyes. He sees fire, smoke, the thunder of cannons. He sees bodies strewn across a battlefield, soldiers fleeing, flames engulfing the night sky. Then he sees Hercler kneeling over someone, her white hair whipping in the wind, her hands stained red. She is crying out his name in agony. And then he sees nothing. Jamie falls to the ground, gasping for air as though he has lived through the vision. Claire rushes to him, horrified. Master Raymond appears seemingly out of nowhere and explains what the Stones are doing. They are showing Jamie the path history is trying to force upon him. Time wants to correct itself. The war demands a price. Jamie Fraser, who survived Culloden when he shouldn't have, who altered history again and again, is being pulled back toward the death that once awaited him. Claire refuses to accept this. She argues, fights, even tries to deny the meaning of the visions. But Raymond warns her that the Stones do not lie. They reflect probable futures unless someone powerful enough intervenes. Jamie tries to maintain his strength, but Claire sees the fear in his eyes. He has always accepted death as a natural part of life. What he cannot accept is leaving Claire a Gunor, leaving his family vulnerable. As the visions grow stronger, the Stones begin reacting even when Jamie is near them, without touching. They emit pulses of red light, the color of blood, the color of war. Claire realizes with dread that the Stones are not simply warning Jamie, they are marking him. Destiny is coming for James Fraser, unless Claire's awakening powers can change it. Claire confronts Raymond, demanding answers, not guesses, not fragments, but the full truth about the Stones and the travelers who came before them. For the first time since his return, he obliges. He tells them a story older than written history, older than the stone circles themselves. Time travel, he says, was not discovered, it was remembered. The earliest travelers were not ordinary humans. They were gifted, born with the same blue aura Claire possesses. They traveled not by choice, but by instinct, drawn to moments in history where balance was threatened. These early travelers built the stone portals not as doorways, but as stabilizers. The stones act like anchors, keeping the timelines from collapsing under the weight of interference. Each stone holds millions of spiritual echoes, memories, warnings, lives lived in different eras. Every traveler leaves a trace behind. Time itself is alive, Raymond explains. It has memory, will, and a desire to correct itself when too many threads are pulled. Claire listens, stunned. According to Raymond, Claire is one of the rarest travelers ever born. Her aura is stronger than the others. That's why she can heal beyond natural limits. Why she can sense danger before it appears. Why the Stones call to her more loudly than anyone else. The Stones have been watching her all along, watching her choices, watching her children, watching Jamie. And now, after decades of silence, they are awakening because the balance between timelines is fracturing. Raymond hints that Claire's lineage may connect her directly to the earliest travelers, though he does not name names. The Stones recognize her as one of their own, and now, they are asking her to fulfill her purpose. Claire begins experiencing changes she cannot deny. Her healing abilities, once rooted in medical science, start to cross into the supernatural. Wounds close to quickly under her touch. Fevers break within minutes. She can sense when someone is about to fall ill before any symptoms appear. Her hair begins streaking with white at first, a few strands, then whole sections. Jamie teases her gently about aging, but Claire knows this is something else, something foretold. Her blue aura, once faint and seen only by Raymond, now becomes visible to others. It shimmers around her hands when she works, around her body during emotional moments, and brightly whenever she nears the stones. Soon, Claire no longer needs to touch the stones to see visions. She can sense timelines shifting like currents around her. She feels the tug of different eras, hears echoes of voices from centuries apart. Then the stones deliver their final message, one that carves itself into the central stone in bright white light. The White Lady will choose the path of the living or the path of the lost. Claire realizes the truth with crushing clarity. The stones are offering her a choice, a terrible, irreversible choice. She can use her full power to prevent Jamie's fated death, altering history and defying the timeline. Or she can walk between worlds and find faith, rescuing the daughter she lost decades ago. But she cannot do both. Saving one will condemn the other, as time begins fracturing. The Frasers gather one last time at Cray Nadun. The air thrums with unbearable pressure. The stones glow with colors no one has ever seen: reds, blues, whites intertwining like veins of lightning. Each member of the family experiences a vision of their possible future. Jamie sees Claire fading from existence, her hand slipping out of his, just as light swallows her. Claire sees Faith standing on the other side of the stones, calling to her with desperate longing. Brianna sees her grown children leaders, innovators, protectors shaping a future built on the sacrifices of generations. Roger sees the stones exploding in brilliant light, time splintering into infinite possibilities. The world around them begins to shake. Time is breaking, collapsing in on itself. Like a dying star, Raymond appears for the final time, telling Claire that all threads have converged. The prophecies, the visions, the awakenings, they were never separate mysteries. They were all part of the same design. Everything is connected, he says. Every prophecy, every sacrifice, every traveler. And now the choice belongs to you. Claire steps toward the central stone. Jamie grabs her hand, trembling. He begs her not to leave him. Brianna begs her not to abandon faith. Roger urges Claire to listen to her heart. Claire closes her eyes. The stone pulses beneath her palm. One life, one destiny, one final choice. And with tears streaming down her face, Claire Fraser, the White Lady, walks into her future, whether to save the living or find the lost. The moment Claire steps into the stones, the world erupts into blinding white light. Jamie reaches for her, screaming her name, but the force is too strong. Brianna holds him back as the stones roar like thunder, tearing open a path between worlds. Time folds, bends, and shatters around Claire. Inside the white void, she hears two voices, one small, innocent, full of longing, mama, and another desperate, full of love, both calling for her, both needing her. For one heartbeat, she tries to reach them both, but the stones do not allow hesitation. Then the light collapses inward, and everything goes silent. On the hill, at Cray Nadun, Jamie falls to his knees. Roger and Brianna brace themselves, expecting the stones to shatter, expecting time itself to break. But the light settles, gently, the stones dim. The air warms, the world goes still, and then a figure steps out. Not Claire, a girl no older than 7 or 8, curly hair, blue eyes, a familiar tilt of the chin. She looks up at Jamie, trembling and confused. Papa. Jamie's breath leaves him. Brianna bursts into tears. Roger cannot move. Faith Fraser. Alive, whole, returned. Jamie lifts her into his arms as if she is made of glass. Tears stream down his face as he holds his lost daughter for the very first time. But one person is missing, Claire. Months later, strange things begin happening across the highlands. Healers report a mysterious woman with white hair appearing in moments of crisis, saving lives before vanishing again. Villagers speak of a white lady who walks between storms. Travelers tell stories of a blue glowing spirit guiding lost souls. Jamie listens to every rumor, every whisper, every impossible sighting. And he knows she is out there. Claire did not die. She did not vanish. She did exactly what the prophecy foretold. She chose the path of the lost and became La Dame Blanche forever, a guardian of time, a healer between worlds, watching over the Fraser family from every era. Years later, Faith stands at Cray Nadun, now a young woman. She closes her eyes and whispers into the wind, "Thank you, Mama." A gentle breeze swirls around her. Blue light flickers, and a soft, familiar voice answers, "Always, my darling." The screen fades to white. The stones pulse one last time. Outlander. The story of love through time ends where it began.